probably sounds weird because I'm not in the studio, but when I feel like I want to chat, I just either grab my laptop, my phone, or go sit down in the studio. But today it is so beautiful out in the Midwest. It is 60, sunny, not a cloud in the sky. I am sitting in my living room and I absolutely love it. And this is what I'm doing. I am writing another book. I can't remember what number it is, 16, 17, whatever it is. I write children's books. I have young adult books. I have a serious one about my hysterectomy. And now I'm writing another serious one about my childhood dreams. So today we're going to talk about that a little bit. And again, I'm sorry if it's echoey, just bear with me here because you know what? The ideas come in and I just want to do it. I just want to record and say whatever. So here's what it is. I want you to think back on the things that you wanted most as a kid, the dreams that made your heart pound and race, and the ones that you daydream about for hours. I was a daydreamer. I was a dreamer. Actually, I still am. The ones that felt possible if only the world would let you have these dreams, right? And maybe for some of you, maybe the dreams have happened. Like, for example, I always wanted to be a writer, and here I am. Now, an even more successful writer would be fantastic, so I still have that dream. And, you know, these dreams have always stayed with me. Maybe all your dreams have stayed with you. I hope they did. And today I'm sharing a little bit about these dreams because I think we all need to remember how important it is that we are, and we still are, dreamers, daydreamers, and we have goals. So I just want to share a couple things. This is going to be sort of like how the book is going, okay? Again, the way I write is every chapter is a new story. So this is how it is. I share my childhood dreams in this. So as a kid, I dreamed of being a dancer, a singer, an artist. I love the idea of moving in a way that felt magical, like singing, like the music could reach everybody, right? Or painting something that felt bigger than me. Or I love to paint on paper, on canvas, even on cardboard, wood. I painted everywhere, even as an adult, even with my children. We would go outside and we would pretend we were Jackson Pollock, and we would just, make the lines go everywhere. If you're familiar with him, like, he just has such beautiful work, and some people would say it wasn't artwork, and some people do, but that's what I loved because it all depended on who was looking at your art, if they thought it was art or if they could find something in it. We actually found a piece of art that I hung in the living room for a very long time. I think I may have talked about this before. We found it at a garage sale, and the frame, the wooden frame around it, is a gold trim, and the painting itself, I've had many people look at it. They don't know the artist's name. A friend of mine actually said that it could have been from a very, very old hotel or motel, like in the hallway, because artists were always commissioned to do these quick paintings. But then, like, some of my other friends that came over and looked at it said, oh, no, this is expensive. Like, there was a number on the back that was an auction number, so it had been auctioned before. And we did kind of pull back the paper, and it doesn't look, it actually, when you put it up to the sun, it looks like it was once another picture, another painting. And so the one that we have now is a rectangle, and it hangs long ways. And my one friend came over and she said, the more I look at this, she goes, and it's not just the glass of wine that I was drinking. The more that I look at this, it actually looks like you're looking down on a street, and each side has buildings around it, almost like maybe Italy, like Rome, maybe. It's like a city, but some of the buildings look like they could be wood, but some also look like they could be concrete and brick. And then the streets look like they could be like it had just rained, or they could be that the sun was shining on them. It's very abstract. But the more that you look at it, the more you can see things like, are there people walking on the street, or is that just the lines of the street? And then the sky looks like, is it kind of cloudy? Is that the sun coming through? It's a very neat picture. I'll share it sometime. So anyways, just have always enjoyed art, always appreciated art, any kind of art. I also always felt like objects had feelings. I wanted to make the objects proud. Like, if I have a couple paintings of guitars. They are far from perfect, but I absolutely love them because I did them. I wanted to create something that made the object feel confident, or have the object shine. Like, this is what it's about. I think I have a picture of a Telecaster that my husband just absolutely loves. It's a picture of his Telecaster. And every piece I made felt like a secret between me and the object until the world was able to see them. You post it on socials or whatever, and everyone says, holy cow, this is great. And they're so encouraging, which is so wonderful. Again, I didn't care if anything was perfect because I was not a fabulous painter, but I loved the art. I cared that it felt like something, and I wanted everything to be seen. So that was just a dream. It was a childhood dream. It went into my young adulthood, kind of snuck into my adulthood as well. So, imagining the future as a kid, as I grew older, my art evolved a little bit. The dream stayed the same. I imagined myself in a bright gallery filled with light, with people walking past my paintings, with maybe their heads tilted, maybe they're holding the hand of someone that they're on a date with or their spouse, and their eyes just kind of linger on my painting, even though there's so many other amazing artwork, artists around. They were dressed in their finest clothes, for the weekend. Maybe they were sipping on expensive champagne. They were ready to spend their money on my artwork. And it would just be so wonderful. Not that it was ever about the money. It was just being known. I wanted someone to stop in front of a piece, take a breath and say, I know whose work that is. That's Meredith's work. Not just because they knew my name, but because they could feel it. They could feel my art. I didn't want to be that cliche starving artist when I was younger. I always just thought big and dreamt big, and I wanted to be a working artist. I wanted my colors to hang in all the living rooms and hallways and stairwells. I wanted people to feel my art every day, to have it as part of their world. So for a little while, I got a taste of that dream. As a young adult, I sold a few pieces. People commissioned me for a few things. Again, they weren't perfect, but they displayed my work. I heard that someone that had accepted one of my pieces cried. They cried because it just reminded them of home, and it was a church that was back in their hometown. And I just felt the pride of someone valuing what came from my hands and my heart and my hard work. Even then, though, the dream was bigger than just selling art or having someone shed a tear because of my work. It was about possibilities. And isn't that what dreams are all about? Don't we dream as a child or as a young adult or as an adult and think of all the possibilities that could happen in that one dream, 2 dreams, 3 dreams, whatever it is. It was about creating a life where imagination mattered, where the things you loved could be shared with the world. I always wanted to keep dreaming big the way a child dreams, with no limits, no rules. You didn't worry about anything. It was just like, how am I going to get to this point? Or maybe as a child, you think, when I get to this point, when people are coming to look at my artwork, when people are coming to see me dance, when people are coming to see me sing, or maybe you want to be a comic on stage, or just anything performance. Maybe you want to be a professional speaker out there and really just inspire people to do better. That's how I've always approached it. Every abandoned building, every shadow, every blank canvas felt like an opportunity. Every color, brushstroke, it was a chance to make something feel alive and proud. And I feel like I do that with my writing now. Every blank page is an opportunity to share a story. And that's what I did with the Anxiety Makes Me Poop books. Every chapter is a story, and it's about my life and how I got through it. And the biggest compliment that I've had people tell me is that they can relate and they didn't feel alone. And I love that. That was always a dream of mine, to pull people together, to make people happy, to make people forget about their troubles for a while. So here's the whole point of all of that, of my echoey all of that, because I'm in my living room. I think so many of us forget our childhood dreams. Life gets busy, responsibilities pile up, and somewhere along the way we tell ourselves those dreams are impossible. But respecting them, even quietly, can change how you move through the world. Don't forget about your dreams. Those childhood dreams, they weren't just fantasies. They were hints at our passions. Oh, you can hear the helicopter outside. I love it. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful outside. Anyways, what was I saying? There were hints. These dreams are hints of our passions, of the creativity, or maybe even our core selves. They deserve to be remembered. Our dreams deserve to be honored, and they especially deserve to be chased. Not because we need to achieve them exactly as we imagined, right? Because as children, we have, vivid imaginations and wild dreams. And as adults, we've learned what can be a dream and what can be reality and what can be imagined into reality. So we don't need to achieve them exactly as we imagined as a child, but because they show us what matters most to us. And that's really what matters. For me, that was art, or that was writing, or that was performing, or that was these podcasts, speaking on these podcasts. For you, it might be something else. It might be a business dream, or owning your own business dream, or anything like that, or creating something, building something. But the point is to keep that spark and that dream alive. Do not forget about it. Nurture it. Let it guide you in your own way. Don't try to follow anybody else's way. It's your dream. It's your way. So in my new book that's coming out, it'll probably be, a few months yet. I kind of explore all of my childhood dreams that I had, like the big ones, small ones, sometimes the messy ones. I talk about a best friend I had as a child and how they shaped who I became and how I'm still getting there. Like I talk about being a dancer, a singer, an artist, every little piece of me that started dreaming long before I even knew how to make those dreams real. And I think you can relate. I feel like many of you can relate to this. So today, I want you to think about your own childhood dreams. Get back into it. What did you want most as a kid? And how can you honor that today? It's never too late to let your imagination lead your way. Be a child again for a moment. Remember those dreams. Maybe you already hit your dreams. Congratulations. I'm so happy for you. But if not, your dreams still matter. And if you nurture them, you never know what might happen next. Thanks for listening. Talk to you next time.